Alright, I don't know how to... Alright, so telling these long storytelling videos can get a bit hard because I'm not English. I don't speak English as my first language. But something super crazy about this car crash thing caught up with me lately. And I just have to tell you all the story. Alright, so this story goes all the way back to last summer, 2016. These guys from Poland, having this contest called Concrete Slabs, sent me a message, asked me if I want to go there. And I said yes, why not? And even more convenient, the weekend after this contest, it was the FIS World Tour stop in Croatia. So I was thinking, why not just drive to Poland, then drive further to Croatia? Have a road trip. Cool, sounds fun. One important thing, this trip I borrowed my sister's car, which was super cool. Shout out my sister, pretty much because the fuel consumption of her car is like half of mine, which is a good thing for the environment and my wallet. Alright, so the drive was 15 hours, 1,200 kilometers. Yeah, that's 745 miles in one day. I drove down, the drive was alright, got to Poland, we rode. I got first place in park, second on street, and most creative rider overall. And that was quite cool. And the next day, we said goodbye to our Polish friends and we started on the trip to Croatia. This was the last selfie we took with the Subaru. Alright, so this might be a bit confusing to some of you because you might have noticed that the last videos I've been driving around in a Subaru looking totally like this one. As you've probably seen in the title and thumbnail, the car got crashed. But the car I've been driving in the last videos is also my sister's car. She bought the exact same one, but just 1 year older. So we started driving. This time I was vlogging, but I did not use the footage for anything and I can't find the footage anywhere, which sucks. So we drove on this small country road. This is when the sketchy part comes. I've never, except the time I skydived, never ever been more frightened for my life ever. We were driving on this country road. I might have to draw everything up just to make everything, just so it all makes sense to you. Alright, so if this for any reason is unclear to some of you, we got into a huge car crash. Alright, so as you can see on this little nice drawing I made, so we were driving here. We drove exactly 70 kilometers per hour. We came to this intersection. Alright, so these guys were waiting right here for us to pass so they could drive over from here till here. This guy came up with the most brilliant idea ever. Yes, why not just cut the two cars in front of me and just cross the country road where people drive 70 kilometers per hour and just to save about 20 seconds. Good idea. Not. Alright, so I'm gonna try to describe the feeling of crashing 70 kilometers per hour front to front. Driving on the road, everything was good, everything was normal. Then we came to this intersection. We see the cars on the left indicating of going to the right. Cool, they were waiting for us to pass. Then I saw like right behind these two cars, this yellow car just pulls out full speed, pulling out to our lane on the road, cutting the two cars in front of him. Right in the second when the idiot just pulled out, I just immediately just understood that, shit, we are gonna crash. I have a 0 chance of stopping before I run into the car. I was stomping on the brake as hard as I could. All 4 tires started sliding. We were just sliding on the ground. Crazy part was like just the 1/4 of a second before you run into the car just goes like slow motion. It feels like slow motion. When I think about it now, it's like the longest second I've ever experienced in my life. And in the blink of an eye,
coming down, I didn't know.
We hit his car front to front. The airbag was blown out, but it was too fast for us to really see the airbag. So yeah, the airbag was just there. It began to fume, it was smoke in the car, and I just thought immediately to myself, the car has caught fire. I said to Philip, which was sitting right next to me, like, Philip, get out now! And we got out of the car and everything just felt normal. Taking in consideration that we were just in a gnarly car crash, everything felt normal. None of us has any scratches, any pains anywhere, except of just adrenaline shaking. I got out and I was in a huge shock. probably the biggest shock I've ever had in my life. And I thought to myself, this is quite gnarly. We've been in a car accident. I need to film this in case we need evidence. And big shout out to myself for doing that. That helped us further in the case with the insurance company. And yeah, take a look on the clip.
Man was coming down. I didn't climb up, you know.
Fan! Fan i helvete skjedde her?
That's scary. It's really scary. And it's scary to think about how bad it could have been. It turned out alright. I mean, none of us got injured. Neither us in my car or the other guys we crashed into. But the outcome could have been a lot worse. The only real thing that got injured in the car crash was my trophy from concrete slabs. Do you see this trophy? Alright, so if you can see these things, the wings, are bent back. And I'm gonna keep them this way. Just to remind me, don't drive recklessly. If I can say anything to all of you watching, if you've never ever been in a car accident, don't drive recklessly. It's not worth it. Trust me, you will not understand the danger of speed in a car until you've experienced a real crash. It gives a whole different perspective on everything, on life, death and injuries. Like, think about it. I could have been sitting in a wheelchair right now, never being able to ride my bike again. So I'm just gonna put it out there, don't drive recklessly. Right, to make this story a bit shorter, we got the car towed away, we got a hotel room, and we went to the hospital and checked. Everything was fine. Good thing, everything was completely fine. So we carried on the trip, we got a rental car, we drove down to Croatia, rode the contest.
Fuck, that was high.
We drove home. We did not really drive home. We drove to Poland, delivered the car, and we took a flight home. And then my friend came to pick me up in his Range Rover. That was cool. So after loads of time back and forth discussing with the insurance company, my little sister got her money back. And yeah, of course, I forgot to say, he got the blame, of course. I mean, he was just pulling out, being super sketchy in the traffic. The insurance company took a look at the pictures of the crashed car and said the expenses for fixing this car will be a lot more than just buying a new car. So she got her money back. So you probably wonder, what has this to do with now? This whole story connects with now. As you probably know, I got super tired of my Mercedes. It's snow outside. Where we live, it's 6 months of snow every year. And back wheel drive and low profile tires sucks on snow. So I came up with the conclusion, I'm gonna sell a Mercedes and get a new car. And I've been driving a Subaru Outback for the last 2 weeks. And I have seriously never ever been more happy with the car. I was putting my Mercedes up for sale. I was looking for a Subaru Outback, a 2009 model, and guess what? We found one. We found a Subaru Outback 2009 model, white. I give you one guess to guess which car this was. Can you guess it? Can you guess it? Can you guess it?
I can.
Benita can. It's absolutely right. It's my sister's old wrecked Subaru. It's fixed. Alright, so the whole story is, the Norwegian insurance company considered this as too expensive to fix. But how did they consider this in Poland? Not the same. They sold the wrecked car to someone, they fixed it up, a Norwegian car dealership bought the Subaru back home to Norway. How crazy is that? How crazy is that?
So crazy.
Isn't that the weirdest thing ever? On the market we found this Outback, and there was like one other one with like loads of mileage on it. And I absolutely know you should never ever buy wrecked cars. My sister is the only person who has been driving this car, and I know for a fact she drives carefully. She drives very carefully. With that said, we took this car to a service place and they looked through everything. They assembled pretty much the whole car. The repairment of the car was 100%. The whole front part of the car was basically new. And what did I do? What did I do?
Bought it!
I bought the Subaru. Absolutely right. I bought the Subaru back. And just take a look at it. My Subaru is right outside of our apartment. Chilling in the snow. And I seriously could not have been more happy with my new car. Alright, so that's gonna wrap up this video. I'll do a little car check in the next video so you can see what it actually looks like inside. And if you watched this right now, thank you very much for sitting through this whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can learn something about the crashing things. Don't drive recklessly. If you did, please press the like button, subscribe if you haven't, press the bell, and go out and ride. See you in 2 days.